and Bumps, Lena, and then there was Team U with Hayward and J Money. And you can see immediately who is like, the weakest link in the team. Hayward spent the first 5 minutes walking around with a probe, making sure there's really nothing proxied. When he was done with that, he went for another round. It's like, all right, Hayward, I have a feeling your two teammates don't respect you as much. It's like, kind of bad. Then at some point he gets like 2 adepts and maybe messes up one shade, and you see J Money taking over. It's like, oh, poor Hayward.
Archon is where you
Really
figure out who your
necessary.
true friends are, man.
Yeah. Once things get serious, then it's not so friendly anymore. Like, give me those guys. Like, you're doing that awful. And that's the one thing. At least I didn't take away the phoenixes from you, Wardy. That would have been real embarrassing.
You didn't have a chance; they're already dead.
Can't steal it if they're gone. All right. Let's go over the names here real fast, as I think we have Elazer, Lambo, and Spirit in the bottom right versus HeroMarine, Creed, Cuku, BattleB, and Iba in the top left. Now, Team Elazer, I believe, has 2 more members, but 2 of their members haven't showed up yet.
who were meant to be the missing members?
Calazur and Special were supposed to be the missing links. I believe that Calazur right now is coming home from a holiday, so he's on the bus home. So he'll be there soon, and then he can help them out. If they continue on in the tournament, they'll be fine. And I think Special also still needs a little bit of time. Their plan was to actually play Terran, but right now they're going to be Zerg. They actually said that they don't feel comfortable at all with Zerg against Terran, because Terran is much better, but they do believe that, I guess, that this is their best shot, because, well, I guess they have Spirit. I'm not sure why they wouldn't let Spirit just play a TvT. He's also been beating HeroMarine every single time they played in the past 5 weeks now.
Yeah, well, I guess that depends whether Elazer and Lambo like controlling Terran units, man. They might pull a wardy Phoenix out of the back pocket,
Yeah, but Lambo actually has pretty decent Terran. I think he's like 5'8", 5'9", or so. So I don't know, I'm somewhat surprised by that. Who do you think is controlling this Reaper? Do you think it's Creed? BattleB?
I actually have no idea, man. Like, yeah, maybe a BattleB or Creed. I don't think they give it to Cuku or Iba. I think Cuku and Iba are there for trash talk, and every now and again they, they fix a depot or something, or they fix an AFK worker.
Yeah, they're the cheerleaders.
Yeah,
just of
no,
the
exactly.
Just the hype men,
Yeah, well, in the Wardies Wankers, I was the official team BMer, so... See, that's exactly what Iba's doing. Like, that's literally his role in the early game. He did the exact same versus us. It's true.
Yeah. No, it's actually true. Yeah, he literally has nothing to do. It's so funny. They think they're like a big part of the team, if the player, maximum goes down, he's the first one to go, and we all know it. Cuku is the second one to go.
Yeah. You can tell who the real core of the team is here.
Probably like once you go like first person camera, Cuku's like in the top right, or just idling over the base, like moving the depot up and down. Yeah. Poor guys. I'm loving the Viking though. I think that's a good call. You can do so much with a Viking if it's being seriously controlled. Reaper Hellion now moving in. There's a Lyote just chilling next to this base. These larvae were definitely taking a bit of a beating.
Maybe Iba should get control of the Lyote. One player just gets credit control.
Yeah, if you click it 16 times, it dies. There's nothing to do anymore.
No, you're right.
When at a time in Curious Minds, when there was like a lot of critters that were annoying, all pro players put like the what do you call it, like the repeat thing on left mouse click, so that you could click it really fast and it would insta explode.
Yeah, I remember that actually. As a Viking, it's gonna grab an Overlord already. It is actually kind of crazy how good some units become when you play Archon, because you can actually just like, they're never worth putting attention into, but when there's nothing else but to put attention into them, like something like this Viking, it can just push back so many Overlords and so much map control, like, for a long time.
Who's controlling the... I think Iba was controlling the Viking. He literally flew into 2 queens. This is the last time they're giving him a unit. I was going through all the cameras. I'm like, what is this? Cuku just signaling to retreat. Meanwhile, Okay, one more Overlord in a bit of trouble. There's a Queen in the main base that could maybe take care of it. Hellions also moving forward. We'll get a couple of kills here. It's actually fairly frustrating. This is so hard to deal with, dude.
Yeah. When the Terrans have multiple people to actually control their Hellions all the time, it's rough. There's units on the top side as well poking around, but there's Queens there at least defensively. So far, the great guys are finding themselves a reasonable defense. Balin S coming up as well, so we're even going to go into Aspire because obviously Mutas are another unit which if you can just control them 24/7, they're going to gain so much more value than usual.
Yeah. Right now we're on a Spirit's camera, by the way.
Beautiful.
Well, I'm on Spirit's camera, and he's just controlling 3 queens, as well as doing the defense in the main base with the 1 queen and the Spore. I actually kind of like that division of tasks. That seems kind of solid, you know, not too much. Then the other person is probably doing majority of the creep, the other queens, and then someone is just doing injects and general macro. I feel like Lambo is doing the macro, don't you think? Yeah.
Could be, yeah. No, Lambo definitely is. You can see it with the solid ring.
Yeah.
That's the Archon observing trick. Solid ring versus dotted ring.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Do you
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I completely understand already. Okay.
Sometimes I don't know if you ever know what I'm talking about, so when I actually try and explain something, it's always a concern.
I got you. Okay. Spire here has finished up now. Or it got cancelled? No, it's finished up.
Yeah, they're just not making mutas. They have the money to make mutas though, so it should be on the way soon, as they need to try and stay clear of their supply block as well. Still Queen's playing good defense, of course. I always thought Zerg was meant to be really good in Archon mode because the amount of creep you can get is just ridiculous. Like, it's so impossible to stop creep when someone just fully focuses on it all the time.
I think, honestly, the most important thing here is going to be to just have the first push. Like, not just stopped, but pushed back, so your mutas can go across the map. Because there is a chance that you're just going to be forced to, you know, defend the entire time with mutas rather than being allowed to harass. And if that's the case, it's going to be hard. If you can move across the map, life is actually going to be good. You see as well that the big guys are just moving across the map with as much as they can and just kind of staying off creep, taking out a little bit of creep on the bottom side. But yeah, of course, the creep threat is going to be fabulous here.
Yeah. Obviously, you can just send a different... When you got 5 players, you can just send a different Terran medevac with a different group of Marines to someone else, and everyone just gets their own medevacs to play with. But they are going to have to split up very well soon with the mutas, obviously. You're going to have to make sure you have enough units defensively and everything, so that'll be important as we actually have a little bit of skirmish in the center, and mutas do try and make a bit of a dive through, and they are going to start putting some damage out as well, so time for the great guys to get some damage on themselves.
Yep. BattleB, by the way, had the top army, Cuku the bottom army. I think Creed had the Hellions and probably is doing defensive stuff. Iba was moving around his camera at a very high speed.
I did wonder whose camera it was when your camera started going all the way around the map.
Okay, we have 2 medevacs going into the main. There's nothing really ready. Of course, the Viking made sure that Overlord turned around. That was a really cool drop in the main. It's gonna get a queen and take out a bunch of drones here as well. As the great guys perhaps in some trouble. Mutas at the same time, dealing a bit of damage here in the main. Take out a turret. These 2 medevacs will try and take care of that. Fort base now being set up for the Terran players. The big guys are doing okay, I feel like.
No, I think they're doing a great job. They're controlling things. They are staying active with their medevacs as well. Obviously, the mutas are meant to be good at shutting these medevacs down, but they've been trying to be aggressive. Now they're going to come over here, so this is where these medevacs can have a worse time. I think that's very nice to be able to start shutting these down a bit.
A muta split is something we never really see. I like it. I wonder how well you could harass technically as well, you know, with this. If you just have 2 people controlling mutas. If you have like significant muta groups, that could be pretty sick. Like 11 or 12, you can almost always find like just a building to damage, which is super annoying. We now, I think, have BattleB. I think this is, yeah, BattleB is in control of the main army. It's gonna start moving on the map quite aggressively. Someone else is dealing with those drops as well at the same time. That's real cool to see. 2-2 is about to finish up. I'm actually pretty afraid here for the great guys. Do they have something to deal with this?
Well, Blink Bay meter is not really something to do with this kind of thing in general, so I feel like the mutas just haven't done enough, right? They're kind of poking on the edges but not doing much else, and yeah, it's just not keeping any serious amount of units at home, so this big push is, like you say, kind of going to be terrifying. Valley even feels like there's banelings ready. There's only 6 banelings on the map. I think they're dead, man.
I think they're dead too. This looks real bad for them. Mutas are diving a bit deeper at the same time in the main base, as all Mutas have kind of gathered there. It is 2-2 upgrades versus, well, just +1 carapace really. There's not even a melee upgrade yet. Banelings are getting some hits, as now a baneling flank is gonna come in. BattleB pays attention, barely gets that pick up. At the same time, the Mutas continue fighting in the main base as well. A bunch of workers have gone down on both player sides. A drone, well, a couple of drones will end up falling extra. How is the next set of upgrades looking? It's getting closer and closer, but this drop is just not being stopped.
I mean, I didn't realize how bad the upgrades are for the great guys. Like +1 carapace against 2-2. It's
yeah,
that's not a pretty time at all. Their supplies obviously dipping heavily, and they are gonna have the mutas, which maybe if the mutas can like find a few good pickoffs and like swing the supply a bit, that's gonna be at least giving them a lifeline. Whereas before they had not a lot going for themselves, and now they're actually flooding forward, and maybe this is the one moment where the great guys can get something done.
Is there enough anti-air? There's 28 Marines. Bailey's going to connect with the SCVs. Depots weren't properly microed in time. Thor's going to get a couple of big shots off, though. 63 workers to 72. Great guys still have infinite creep as well. Don't forget about that. Especially towards that bottom side in the top. The middle lane has been cleared. There's still a 2 Marine squad. I have no clue how they got there, but they're dealing damage. New drones in production. There's 5 base versus, well, 5 as well. I still favor the position quite a bit for the big guys, but the mutas now with +2 going into the main base, that is 17 mutas. They can clear turrets relatively quickly.
Yeah, they're dangerous. They can get in, they can start, like you say, clear out a turret, and then they gain some space, and that really forces units to come and deal with them. As right now, there's a little pack of Marines, and looks as though it's going to be plenty, but this keeps the Terran players back, right? So as long as the Terran's back, the Zerg see this as a win, and then jumping on that forward base, denying the 5th a little while as well, even getting Burrow, which is also going to be powerful when you have someone who's just going to be able to watch the minimap a lot more frequently than in a regular 1v1, so Burrowed Banes could be very frustrating.
Hard agree there, yeah. Another thing that's interesting to note as well is that they haven't really started respreading creep. I wonder if that's on purpose to try and make Burrow a bit more useful, or if they're just saying, hey, we now have 1 person on the mutas, 1 person on the run bite. I think Spirit is on the Lingbane. Oh, that was not good. Oh yeah, he is. Yeah. This is some Terran micro. This is how he thinks you deal with mines. You just lost like 25 links to 2 mines. Like, no, you actually do need to split against those. It's just like the Disruptor, except it's automatic, mate. Like, gotta take care of them.
Yeah, the Terrans will never believe the Widow Mine is good until they play against it. So, something along those lines. 10 drones go down. That drop in the main was pretty decent as well. As we have another bigger push setting up from the big guys coming down the bottom. Obviously, they can clear some creep there as well. And looks as though we're going to reposition a couple of these Banes that were previously burrowed. Trying to get something still done with these meters. They are very much just stuck on Lingbane meter as well. Like, they have no tech out of this for now, which generally becomes a big issue for Zerg the later the game goes.
Yeah. This is definitely an issue. I think at some point you might even want to get a couple of ghosts out. Big Marine hits. Mines.
Could have been better.
Honestly, not that awful. I thought it was going to be much worse for the Zerg. A bunch of these mutas also going towards the bottom side now. There's 28 mutas total. I think there's like 18 here on the top side and like 10 on the left. Gonna take out 1 turret at least. I mean, this just seems kind of hopeless, honestly, splitting at this point. But they're still gonna do it. Bane count is at 11, 20 more on the way. They're trying all the rotations. Spirit's micro really needs to improve when it comes against these Widow Mines. He just keeps losing units again and again. Like, he just doesn't split.
I don't think Spirit quite understands the split away link control as you do see. I think Lambo just took over the Link Bane there as well, so it starts to look a little bit. It's exactly what he said. You mess up too many times, the other guy's just like, you get out of here. Yeah, this is completely different to moments ago, although the mutas now sabotage. Beautiful.
That was not it. I think all mutas are now together once more. So, oh, look at these 2 Burrow Banings. You see that?
Yeah. They're waiting for them. They're trying to bait them into the future.
Yeah. I almost feel like they're being too obvious in a way, you know?
Yeah. I think someone just did you signal the thing? Was it the Zergs?
Someone was signaling there. I'm not sure.
They knew. I think they knew.
Very nice. Yeah.
Oh, very smart.
I mean, Eba's probably just literally in charge of spotting Banelings that are being burrowed, so not too surprised by that. This game is way closer than I really would have thought it was going to be, especially after seeing the early game. The great guys are really struggling finding a hole in this defense, though. The creep is also being destroyed. Middle lane of creep is getting back up there. Muta count still at 22, so that's something. Marine's now being taken out. Banelings maybe could do something. No, they can't really. It's one more mine is going to get blasted. One more mine is going to get blasted. Muta control has been really good. These 2 drops will probably get blasted due to those mutas. Don't think they can even get the unload. Now there's a boost, maybe. Ooh, Link's in position. Wardy. This is a solid defense.
Yep, this is a complete shutdown. Those medevacs are going to die. 1 and 2. Nice and easy. We lose maybe a bit of creep in the center and Overseer as well. The Terrans have been great at pushing back the creep, by the way. Like, I'm very impressed by how much they've been able to control and contain that. So they just need to kind of get 1 scan in the center here, and they really would be in a better spot. Although they are going to have a bit of a fight going, as some of these Marines did not get into medevacs, despite there being space. The Terrans not finding the right micro in the middle of the map.
They're actually losing some of these fights right now, which is kind of scary. They will take out this 5th base, hopefully, if they click it. Right? Yeah, there we go. We'll get taken out. Bottom side base also gets taken out. So both players losing quite a bit there. Terrans now starting ghost production. We have a lurker then on the way, which I kind of like in a way. Drop heading in towards the main will be units in position as Adrenal is getting closer and closer to finishing up. The worker count for the Zergs has dropped significantly. And I'm wondering if going up to 31 mutas at this point in the game is going to be the call. There's 3 Tors out. They have +2 vehicle weapons. There's ghosts that are popping out. There's 8 hero already, 3 more on the way. It feels like the era of the Mutalisk has ended 2 minutes ago. Oh my god. Do you see that split?
Yeah. No,
well,
I did not see the split.
Lack of the split. Yeah, I did not see the split.
Yeah, so I saw the absolute lack of... Yeah, no, the mutas are kind of done for. Like, they're kind of past to that point. Just going to be seeing the bio still set up in the center, though. We've got more of these units. They did find the scan, by the way, that I was talking about to really kind of push back the creep in the center. So yeah, it's kind of time for the Zergs to find something like, you know, like the Lurkers, right? A bit more defensive, but with Ghosts coming out as well. The Terrans are just so well set up already.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the problem right now, the main problem that I see for the great guys here, our Zerg players, is that they can't really get rid of these mutas because they don't have anything to replace them with. But I also don't, you know, they're also not going to be useful anymore. So right now there's what, like 56 supply in Mutalist. That's a lot of resources as well. That is basically useless. Like, it's not doing anything.
Yeah. As you see, a little cleanup here though. I mean, they kind of baited these units over here as they were trapped, but then they get freed. And that was actually a big supply swing. 30 supply of the Terran drops.
Yeah, that was huge. I guess that's a really powerful little play that they could use. I think they're going to try to abuse that once more. Look at that. They just keep these banelings over there and then bounce in between the bases. That is kind of difficult to deal with, of course. Oh, get 1 snipe on a mine. We get a snipe as well on a baneling.
So that was maybe wanting to be a muta, but didn't quite get the touches. GC Bane's going to chase forward here. 1 Thor is going to have the same medevac pull it back. Woodermine gets a shot off. Still links to chase for a little bit. The Nidus attempt is going to be denied. Units enough there in the main base for the Terrans to say, nuh-uh. Just the Lurkers are coming out onto the field there. Still working on some upgrades, but soon they're going to be full power, and we'll see if they can be the real kind of turning forces. I guess one thing is, these guys, because they've been trading so...
What did they say? Nuh-uh?
Nuh-uh? What?
Nuh-uh?
Nuh-uh? Did I say that?
Is this a common thing to say?
Nuh-uh? Yeah. It's like, no.
I never heard this before.
Nuh-uh. It's like you're really making a point like, nah, no way.
Okay.
Probably, when I say it, probably sounds like I'm just going like, nah, or something.
Yeah. Anything from Newcastle. Lurkers are moving in position right now over here at the 3rd base. As the Muta's trying to deny the snipes. Actually doing a good job here. A lot of ghosts being taken out. As the Lurkers are still active. Lurker Muta, when you can control both of them, is actually not that weak. Look at that.
Yeah.
These ghosts are being blasted.
Yeah, Muta's able to dive the ghost is actually really sick. Something you would never really see is a couple more snipes there. Now there's only 3 Lurkers remaining, but some good progress. There's going to be a Terran dive on the bottom side. These units are low HP though. If we can just get enough here to fight it off. I was going to say neither side really has a bank, right? Because they're just so busy trading so consistently that it kind of makes it fascinating. Like, any fight can be really deadly because there's not an instant rebuild available for anyone.
Another Nidus attempt here in the main base is not quite going to work out. That single lurker up top, though, is helping quite a bit. 150 supply to 166. The Terrans continue expanding. If their bottom base now gets shut down, though, that would be a big hit because there's a couple of mules working there. They don't actually have any cash. They're getting quite a bit in income, but this is kind of scary for the big guys right now.
Yeah, no, they are kind of getting put on the back foot a little bit, and especially with these lurkers, it feels like a newfound resolve on the side of the Zergs where they can actually... They always have something to fight with the game where they've not really had that for a long time, apart from overwhelming a position or so.
Yeah, still need to be careful, of course. Muta's coming in from the back right now. I really thought these Mutas were going to be useless, but they've proven themselves very worthy. For now, the big mine is going to hit as the first few infestors are being produced. Neural Parasite as well on the way. 10 SCVs have gone down somewhere as a hatch on the bottom side doesn't get cancelled. The Great Guy is also not so rich anymore whatsoever. The final lurker is going to get cleaned up. That brings the total lurker count now to 0. How many mines do you think have been sniped? Guess.
Guess? 23.
Yeah. 39.
39, that's a lot.
Well, we don't know if all of them been sniped, but 39 mines have been taken out.
Yeah, well, obviously I was going for the snipe number. 16 just died normally.
Yeah, because I usually keep track of them. Sorry, Wardy. I should have been more clear there.
Yeah.
I apologize for being an idiot.
No.
Won't happen again.
I'm used to it at this point after those games earlier.
Yeah, sure. Fantastic.
Ooh, the fungal doesn't really... Well, kind of gave the Mutas a little bit of a chance to get a couple more Marines, but not too much. Obviously, infestors in general around the map can cause some concerns, so we do see the Lingbane trying to make a dive to protect some group spread. The single Widow Mine shot on a single Zergling this time. Hit not Spirit in control.
Let's take a look who's controlling everything. Right? Spirit is spraying creep. One more big fungal over here. Very nice. I still think that this is starting to look worse and worse, though, for our Zerg players. Ooh, that was a nice engagement out of Elazer, I think it was, with those Muta Ling. No Banelings at all in this army. Ghost not quite getting that range on the snipes. I think our Zerg players are in trouble. They're trying to transition into a still very active style with infestors, Lings, and Mutas all around the map. It feels like they're not quite getting that cost efficiency anymore. And at this point, the big guys have 10 orbital commands. So despite them being on only 55 workers, they have enough income, really. They have their bases set up. There's no mining going on the very top side, 12 o'clock. So if it's going to be a split map scenario, I mean, the big guys are just going to be winning 100%, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, Terran's just way too good in this scenario. And there's no way Zerg trades well enough or finds enough to make up for it.
Yeah, and also I don't see a way actually to go into Infestor Broodlord at this point, right? There's just no resources available this entire time, which is a massive issue.
Yeah.
Nidus Network got positioned in range of the planetary. This is...
this is a wardy planetary. This is a wardy planetary. I would have targeted that Nidus.
Oh, you would have gotten the Nidus real good, mate.
Yeah.
You can leave Wardy in charge of the planetaries if these are the Nidus positions, that's for sure. Oh boy. It's quite a banger of a game, though. What do you think the average APM is for the big guys?
For the big guys?
Yeah.
Is it all their APMs added up?
Yeah.
So you got 4 Terran players in eBay? Like 1,100.
It's 1287.
1287? Oh. I didn't realize that eBay's moving around the map counting. I guess
probably still spamming the buttons as well as a Zerg after all.
Yeah.
They just love clicking stuff quickly. Ooh, this is actually a pretty
nice
okay trade here on the bottom.
Yeah. The Zerg's getting a little bit of progress as they clean up a little bit. Lingbane Muta still in the center. And Bioforce has to back away from that, be a little bit careful as Marauders, tanks, plus 3 vehicle plating. All the final touches to the upgrades. And again, lots of tanks being made actually, as we do get another catch here. There's a lot of Terran units getting caught off and going down, and now the Zergs might try and capitalize. The Mutas at the very least are going to chase forward. There's going to be a medevac going down. Now a couple of Ghosts already targeted, the tanks as well. They're going to make great progress diving into this position.
Yeah, actually, it's not that bad. The problem, I think, is that they also lost their bottom base, and they're probably soon going to lose their top side as well. A couple of tanks, well, not entirely out of position, well, kind of out of position, just not sieged up, I guess. Ghost now moving back to the top side. I actually feel like that they tried to break there. They got really close, but then they didn't have enough to push through. Like, if you clear the planetary there on the bottom with that push, then all of a sudden that side is so much more open as well, right? And they need to rebuild turrets and everything, but now that they've lost 2 bases during this, and I'm just not entirely seeing a way forward here. The control on that Hydra Ling army is quite good. Yeah, there's Lambo out there. It's doing a decent job. They need to take that bottom side planetary. There hasn't been a single Viper yet, by the way. Which, in a way, I was thinking, how good would Viper Muta be? You know, just pulling in individual units into it?
Yeah, I guess so. But then, which units are you targeting? Like the tanks and stuff and so on?
It's just whatever you have.
Whatever
No,
you
like
have.
anything can die. Like a marauder, or like you're just killing stuff the entire time, and you have so much time, so it's easy to consume the correct buildings. This is a good link flank, by the way.
Yeah, this keeps happening where the Zergs are definitely kind of catching the Terrans a little bit, like too many units here, too many units there. So that's definitely been one thing that's kept the Zergs in this.
Whenever I see a move that doesn't make any sense, I immediately
You
go to Spirit's camera, and I see him looking at the same thing. It's so funny because you can just... This is exactly what happens, right? When you're playing like reverse race as well, you think you have all these cool plays that would maybe work against you, and then when you try them, it's like, hey, never mind, this is garbage. Like running past a planetary into another planetary with 15 links. It's like, not quite it.
Not actually the play.
Yeah, it's like, who could have seen that coming? It's like, it's so funny though that every single time that I've been confused by something, it literally has been Spirit. It's kind of sick. Like, he's obviously a phenomenal player, but it's just, if you're not like the main race, then sometimes you believe that a move is going to have like positive expected value. In reality, is insane.
Yeah.
And as an observer, it's kind of easy to see. We have 3 brutes now on the way.
Some already up as well.
There's 3. Yeah. I mean, they'll need to push into this at this point. Like, if this base gets mined by Terran, that's that's over. That's game 100%.
Yeah. It revolves around this base because otherwise you've just not mined enough yourselves. In theory, they probably need to deny that mining and mine the 6 o'clock themselves still for how badly they've traded. Yeah. So, but that's something they can worry about later. When you've mined the top, maybe you start to mine the bottom, or maybe even you somehow find a way to mine that base if you push them back far enough. But some combination of that has to happen. So step 1 is, like you say, pushing into that top side base.
Yeah, honestly, the only way that the great guys are going to be winning this game right now is Elazer took a bus to HeroMarine City and is going to knock him out cold in a couple of seconds, because otherwise I don't think there's anything that they can do in game. You know, there needs to be some outside factors that we'll have to influence at this point.
Yeah, strike a couple players down. Fungal with no follow-up, unfortunately, just nothing else nearby. Now you're kind of fighting in. The medevac's going to lift up. Muse will try and chase. A couple tanks will get some good shots off to start. Let's just unload into the fight. Kind of tells you that the Terrans are feeling good about this. The last few meters, though, are still going. They get one more ghost. These meters have actually been so much better than I ever thought they would be.
Oh, Brute's now vulnerable against these ghosts, but at the same time, this is the one timing that the great guys might actually have. What is the anti-air situation like? It's 13 Marines, 10 ghosts. The rest is tanks. If these ghosts do not get the snipes, this base is toast, and a lot of tanks are going to be toast. There's really not that much mining anymore for the big guys anyway. Like, this is really important. If these ghosts end up dying as well, that would be huge. They're going to just barely get evacuated out. If that one medevac would have been taken down, that would have been huge. There would have been 4 more ghosts. This is a big move here, Wardy.
Yep, denying the important base and also just having this continued push. Thors are on the way. Try and deal with this Broodlord attack. Vikings as well, they definitely see this as the main threat. Which, to be fair, it absolutely is, and the Broods are going to play like that as well. They're pushing forward and they're looking for more. They definitely feel like they need it as we push on further and deeper. And the Broodlords continue to get some catches. The Thors cannot stand and fight at the moment, apparently. So, yeah, the Broods are putting themselves in pretty good position, man. On top of this base now as well.
I'm loving the individual infestor micro as well. Makes it way harder to deal with. Usually they're all kind of clumped together, you know, easy to EMP. But here you can see one person is just using that one infestor to try and bait stuff out. So far it hasn't quite worked yet. The ghosts do get 1 or 2 snipes off. I think this is as far as the great guys can go right now. I don't think there's much more they can do. That infestor does get EMP. That means there's nothing really as backup. 1 more infestor will try and move in as an overseer gets sniped. There's 3 infestors, 4 infestors with energy. Big guys might be moving too far forward right now.
Yep, no, a couple fungals will come down, but you still need the damage output. I'm just not sure if it's there for the Zergs. The Terrans have the Thors, although a bunch of the Thors are derping in the back. Now we get a Neural Parasite down as well. There's just still not a lot of Zerg in comparison to Terran and the Thors. Shred the Broodlords, that's going to be GG at 30 minutes. I'm going to see the great guys tap out, and the big guys are going to take map 1.
Wow, that's impressive, Wardy.
That was a good kick.
That was impressive.
Yeah, in the top right will be the Zergs and the great guys. Lambo, Elazer, and Spirit. On Hearthstone stream, this is where you no longer get viewed. As in the bottom left, it's HeroMarine, Cuku, Eva, BattleB, and Creed. The big guys. The winners of this play Maru, Gumiho, Ryung, and Beyond in the semi-finals. Which will be best of 5, just best of 3 in the quarterfinals, best of 5 once we get to the semis, best of 5 finals a day as well. So all those best of 5s coming up after this. Gonna be a busy, busy day. Full of Archon contests. How long does it take you to go downstairs and get banana, guys? I feel like Hearthstone is sat there eating the banana, just listening to me ramble on. He's ditched me. He's letting me do the hard part. I don't know, he's actually here now. And that is why you can never trust a Protoss player. So, with that story told, we've got Overlords moving and a beautiful game of StarCraft ahead of us. Welcome back.
Wait, what story did you tell?
It was a really good one about a Protoss player and his friend.
It's great to hear. Glad you're telling all the good stories when I'm not around.
You know, I have to bring out the big boys when it comes to, you know, you not being here. You're filling your shoes is not easy.
Facts.
Facts. Right, I'm going to grab a drink. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I ate a banana and an avocado. High tier snacks. All right. What do we have here? We have a Reaper coming out. Oh, this is all very standard. I'm literally zero worried about all of this. What is this thing? Hatchery building a queen. So there's still no added player on. I could check if there's an update yet on where Elazer is in the bus, but I think he might not have even left yet. I think he's coming out of Belgium and he's going back home. I think he said he'd be home at like 6 or so, which is it's quite a bit from now. All right. First 4 links versus the Reaper. Who's in control of the Reaper? I want to say BattleB. I'd be surprised if it's not BattleB. BattleB actually has really good Reaper control. Gets 1 kill there. Look at this. He's real quick on that.
Hello.
He's going to be running around for a little bit. Hello?
Hello. What'd I miss?
A Ling got killed. BattleB is very good with Reapers. You know how some people are... There is another Terran that is a little bit lower level. Nico Rect is pretty good with his first Reaper.
Yeah?
Are you familiar with Nico Rect?
I cast him a bunch.
Yeah. Like, people don't know, but there's like people that have this very specific skill. Elazer also always has been better with his Reaper than the rest, you know? It's like comparative to his skill level. Like, he's a good player, but his Reaper control is actually top. Like, it's probably like top 3 worldwide or so. It's very, very good.
Huh. Very cool. Top 3 worldwide?
Cool. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But single Reaper, yeah? I don't know about more Reapers. Single Reaper, yeah.
This is one of the stats they make up when they have a team that they don't have many other stats on.
No, this is actually true. Top 1 Reaper control.
Okay, top 1 Reaper control for single Reaper.
Top 2.
Top 3.
Yeah, single Reaper.
Top 3 single Reaper.
It's really sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So someone should have really picked him up to micro the first Reaper then.
Yeah.
His job is to micro 1 Reaper.
He is in Team Great Guys. He just hasn't showed up yet.
He's also in Team Great Guys.
Yeah. It's him and Special that are in Team Great Guys, and neither of them are here.
I thought it was Elazer. He lied to me.
Wait, what did I say?
He said Elazer and Special.
Yeah.
And you're talking about Nikorak, no?
Oh, no. I said Elazer. I said also Elazer. I didn't say
also
Nikorak.
Elazer.
No.
Yeah, no. Elazer, yeah.
Okay. Elazer is good Reaper control. What? No,
yes.
You're not paying attention.
Okay.
It's probably because they don't have a...
You're changing topic too quickly for me, man.
Yeah, the British are not used to that.
No.
They've been talking about the same thing for years now. That's their blue passports.
Yeah. I love my blue passport. I can't wait for my passport to expire.
So you get a blue one finally.
Yeah, I might just lose mine just so I can get a new one already.
Can't wait. $60 to change the color of your passport.
Yeah, that's more than $60, mate.
All right. We have the Reaper for Hellions. 2-1-1 as a follow-up. Well, it's not really a 2-1-1, but it's kind of a 2-1-1. There's going to be Marines in the drop. That's all I'm talking about. We have a Mine style once again coming out. It's funny because I feel like most of the Terrans in this team actually prefer tank styles usually, but now that they have so much, you know, they know that they only have to control one thing at a time. They're like, oh, I think we can play mines.
It's a fun diversion as we drop the armory down already.
Second factory. It's a drilling claws, no?
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, otherwise, what else do you need an armory for at this point?
Hybrid. Do you remember when hybrid used to be a thing? People just opening with bio into mech.
Bio into mech. Yeah, actually, I kind of do. But like,
it's like
it sucked.
Yeah, but it was fun. So.
It's fun. Yeah.
It was genius and innovative and creative. God. Yeah, but it wasn't very good. Most things that are innovative and creative are just not very good most of the time.
That's why they're innovative. Yeah. Everyone else come up with everything else.
Spire here. Halfway done now, so it's going to be a quick mutualist curse. The creep is looking kind of okay. Not brilliant. It's really just kind of okay. Can queens just hold this by themselves?
Yeah.
I'm never sure. It looks crazy, no?
Yeah, but Transfuse is super powerful. Like, queen's fairly tanky against these first marines, and then transfusions, very good if you actually use them.
Yeah, who's controlling this, you think? That's Elazer. Yeah, Lynx now need to move in position. Lost how many queens there? I think 2. Yeah, used to have 9, now 7 total. Forward base is being attacked by Hellions. We have a Ling run by. That's definitely going to be Spirit. No, Spirit is back to spreading creep now. Elazer. What's Elazer doing? Yeah, who's on the Ling run by? Spirit. Yeah. Nice.
Spirit's and Ling been run by. Alright, Bane's moved in. Ling's defend the Medivacs. Let's see what the Banelings do on the other side, because they are definitely going to get through, but when there's 5 players, someone should be in charge of pulling the SCVs away, and in this case they are, so they deal with that pretty well, as the Banelings don't do much. The Lings also don't find any entry onto the natural. Just good defense all around. Hellions going to catch these Lings as well. Nicely done.
Actually, fairly nicely done. 130 supplied to 148 right now. This is not looking so hot. The creep is very mediocre. The supply is just so high. They're playing 8 racks? How did they get supply blocked? Oh, big gape. Oh, big gape.
Yeah, that's something.
Do you see that mine shot? That was 18 kills on the mine up here. I caught the tail end of that. The mutas actually pop in over here. Turrets aren't ready either. There's some stuff is being dropped here on the side of the Terran. This is not great. They're dropping the ball a little bit.
Yeah, the mutas were the thing that kind of brought the Zergs back last time around as well, so maybe another opportunity is do see our mutas are going to keep on harassing. Marines going to stim in over on this side. We're still killing drones as well at the same time, so you get a couple of overlords there. The Zergs really are being kept back on the macro.
Yeah.
The supply just can't keep up. If the Terrans get across the map for one big push, like, it's going to be killer.
Yeah, and I mean, there's 69 workers to 61 right now. They're down in workers. Like these constant mine drops are really doing a number on them. It's so hard to deal with. So hard to deal with. 10 workers did go down. I mean, freaking. I don't know who's on charge of these mutas. I think it's gonna be Elazer, right?
Yeah,
he's doing a sick job.
Yep, these mutas are the best thing that they've had, but even that's not enough to kind of claw back the advantage. Maybe now they're going to find a mineral line opening, but they need so much damage. And they don't just need like one shot of damage. They need to do damage over like a few different fights probably to really kind of level it out.
Yeah.
So there's a 30 supply difference. This is a good fight perhaps as the Marines get surrounded. Not enough mutas to maybe capitalize. Can they get rid of this low HP medevac? It boosts away. The Terran race is so disgusting.
Yeah. If they get that medevac, then you know you're taking out 10 supply at once, which is kind of nice. But doesn't end up being the case. This medevac will get cleared as the Lambo is finding space to drop down a couple of drones in there. Don't forget this was 8 racks. I honestly feel like if this was 4 CC, this would have been so much better for the Terran.
There's only 5 barracks. I just thought you misspoke before.
The extra barracks were just super late.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, right. I just saw 3 barracks go down. I was like, oh, 8 racks. I know a lot about the game. That's 8 barracks, right?
I was like, well,
3 more.
3 barracks and 3 reactors. It's like 8 racks anyway. Yeah. I thought there was some cool talk I missed out on. Turns out you're actually just an idiot. Cool.
The new definition of the 8 racks is you don't actually need 8 barracks anymore.
You know, I've been so well trained to just trust my co-caster and to back them up. I cast with you, it's like, that should really go out the window.
You gotta fact check everything I say, Wardy. I keep you on your toes. Don't forget that. This is not looking too great for the great guys over here as they're being pushed back right now into their fort base. This is already a scary ultimate just by itself, but there's more where this came from. I guess we have an attack on the top side at the same time, and The first game was very good. The second time seems to be kind of running out over here. More Banes are on the way. Not entirely sure where they went for this attack just before 2-2 finished up, but I'm sure that the great guys will appreciate it, as the big guys right now are Terran players. They're having a good time.
I felt like the great guys never got off to as hot of a start this game either. Like the creep never really got as far out. There was a real point last game where I felt like the creep was just everywhere, and that was almost like nowhere to go as the Terrans, but this game's just never felt the same. Mind, bit of friendly fire, but he lost a hatchery already. The mutas are again on the counter-attacking dive, and they will try and get something done. They will force some units back here, but again, these mutas feel like the one thing that's been the biggest consistent throughout both games. For the Zerg.
Elazer has been absolutely cracked on these mutas. Like, absolutely cracked on those mutas. Because for a second there, it started looking at if they like take out like a couple of reactors, maybe some production goes down, you might have a future here. And even now, like supplies are getting closer. Don't forget that last game, the eco looked much better, but their upgrades sucked massively. And now their upgrades are pretty quickly on 2-2. Muta's still finding damage this entire time. We have a 5th base that is going up once more. I think one of the main focuses here should be probably creep spread. There's a bunch of links, just not quite sure what there was that. Yeah, it was Spirit. Okay, nice. It was an interesting fight. And it's like 20 links against 12 Marines. I'm like, all right, this is not actually good for Zerg. We are aware of that, right? As the mutas continue dealing more and more damage. 3-3 not quite done yet. As there's just a single turret left right now at the 3rd base. If these Marines get taken out and then the turret gets targeted as well, that could be freaking huge. Medevac's now going down. That's another 2. Honestly, Elazer is single-handedly saving this game with his muta control. At the same time, a big fight as well. Mutas continue poking over here. A couple extra turrets are being added in. I feel like, honestly, that the big guys should just be adding turrets like everywhere, because the only thing that is bothering them is the mutas. So if they just really double down on that defense and go to a more stable place, that would be good. I think the great guys are getting a lot of momentum here. No 5th base up yet. Wait, is there even a 5th CC? No.
Yeah, and the resources lost is only like 500 different compared to like thousands of difference like you might usually expect. These mutas have actually been so good. And maybe the Terrans just getting a little bit too split up at some point. And of course, some of that was forced as well by, you know, Elazer being here and there with the mutas and forcing them around, forcing them to defend and stop them from attacking. Now, the Terrans, not as comfortable a position as it once seemed to be. WardiTV here starts off nicely. Going to see a couple of WardiTVs not getting a chance to fire, though. The Medevac's having to load up, and the mutas again are going to go on the chase. They can shut these units down. Again, it's a massive catch. There's just not enough anti-air to deal with all these mutalisks.
Is that game? I think it might be game already.
Yeah, if Link Bane just floods this base and there's just never enough anti-air. There's obviously a bunch of turrets on this location. Apparently that's enough to get the Zergs away, and they've been saved by missile turrets. There's a drop on the other side. It's going to hit big just as the economy's on exactly the greatest. A few drones here. Heads a lot.
That was huge. That was huge. That took away the wind out of the sails quite a bit from our Zerg players here. As we have more and more links heading in towards the 3rd base. Let's take a look at how Spirit. No. He's just dealing with the drop. It's Lambo in control here, and that means a lot of SCVs are going to end up falling. Turrets, I wouldn't mind if there's a bit more of a focus on also just damaging or trying to take out turrets in these run-bys, because it makes the mutas so much more valuable later on. Like, honestly, a Baneling run-by to take out 3 turrets might just always pay off.
Yep. Yeah, no, just if you get rid of the turrets and then the mutas can just overtake the game again, basically. Yeah, that would be a probably worthwhile plan. Is for the moment the mutas get chased away, a group of Marines strong enough to actually force them back for once. But obviously the big guys are having to go big on the rebuild. The army supply is still okay, so they should be able to hang around, but they do need to kind of get another base up and maybe replenish 15 SCVs or so, right?
Yeah, this is the thing, that before, when we had these type of worker counts, there always was 7, 8, maybe 9 orbital commands. Right now, 3 orbital commands total. That means that if you want to scan at any point in your life, you're not going to have that many mules available this entire time. There's an Overlord now moving over to go and poop on that location as well as... Oh, that's a lot of mine shots!
That was very scary. Mutas taking a bunch of splash damage. A few of them obviously go down to the direct shots. Now the mutas have to replenish and go again. They're going to find a WardiTV over on the edge initially. So just going to grab that. As Burrow comes up, we can potentially start those Baneling plays that we saw before. And the fact that they're going to get these Banelings kind of out of nowhere might be something to catch the Terrans off guard a little bit as well.
it's so funny when you see like 4 or 5 groups of Marines and medevacs all being controlled individually to perfection. You know, it's like, oh, these Marines are out of position. Like, never mind, there's a guy on top of this. You know, it's like just being kited back and like 5 links go down here. This is so frustrating to play against. The great guys had a moment there where it really felt like they had everything going, but now Hive is done for them. They need to get their upgrades, continue their upgrades. They still have slightly better eco, but that 5th base is now being set up. And if that 5th base goes up, it actually makes the game quite easy here defensively. With the sensor towers up too, I don't really see a way for the Mutas to kind of fly around and to try and threaten in towards the main base.
Nope, I don't really see it either as Mutas continue around the side. It's going to be seen at Bio. Heading up to the upper left, and it's just going to go catch a hatchery. Ling Bane going to go dive further again. This Planetary Fortress is maybe in some trouble. SCVs at least are going to get blown up by those Banelings, so just to be able to grab a bunch of those. And the Planetary, though, doesn't die, which is a lot of the time the main thing you've got to get. The SCVs is one thing, but taking away a Planetary, a base to mine from, really is a whole bunch better.
Yeah. Is there actually anything defensively at all? There's now 10, 11 Banelings on the way. Drones are being taken out. Mutas go for the production, it feels like. There's still so many Marines alive, though. Mutas almost believe they can fight there, and they might semi be correct. Oh, there we go. Lots of low Marines getting targeted down here by these Mutalisks. So Elazer once again gets a decent trade, but at home they are struggling. There's a double drop on the right side as well, taking out more and more workers. Lynx need to run into position, but there's no defensive Mutas to eventually clean this up. Elazer has done honestly a world-class job here. Like this has been crazy to watch, but I don't think it's going to be enough. 3-3 upgraded Marines are freaking powerful. These medevacs up here are empty, and they are on creep. So they actually, if they stim one more time, Banelings are gonna one-shot. So maybe they can get a cleanup here. The Muta count is falling, though. It's declining.
Elazer might actually win MVP while his team loses.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous what those Mutas have done. As you see, Terran units all over the place. We are going to see the big fight on the left side break out as well. So we're just going to dive in over here, but there's just not enough. The Terran force is too much, and the big guys survive a couple scary moments. That's going to be GG's. And HeroMarine and Co. are going to move on to the semis.
Wow.